After TFT purchased the assets of Jaffrey Fire Protection in New Hampshire, one of the key components of that purchase was something called an intake valve at that time. They had a very unique design of an intake valve that used a quarter ball design that actually, when the valve was open, it allowed the ball to move totally out of the waterway, allowing the waterway to be virtually straight through. So you had very little loss, you had the ability to have very high flows, but also in a very compact unit. So that's one of the things that, I won't say we inherited it, but we acquired it and we modified it and we fine-tuned it with the engineers here at TFT to come up with some of the highest flowing, highest performing intake valves that are on the market today. Now, though that was our primary focus, one of the key elements that came out of this when we were doing the studies on the intake valves, we looked at huge amounts of failures in the field of other people's because of corrosion issues. Well, the corrosion issue, everybody said, oh, it's bad water, lousy water, it causes issues, things like that. Well, our research that we did for many, many months before we actually did our design work here led us to believe another problem was going on, and that's galvanic corrosion, where you have dissimilar metals, the bronze of the pump with a softer aluminum component being screwed to that pump, so you have a dissimilar metal touching each other. And if you're aware of what galvanic corrosion is, it's almost actually a little electrical current that's running through that causes this softer metal to degrade. If you're used to working with pumps, this is really an anode is what it is. It's a sacrificial anode that often is put into a pump. Well, the aluminum being softer does exactly the same thing. So what we found is that doing the hard coat anodizing and the powder coating like we've always done on a lot of our equipment wasn't adequate to prevent some of the dissimilar metal issues. This is where TFT took a bold step, and if you can see right in here in the coupling area, you'll notice we use no ball bearings. We actually use a polymer ring, a polymer strip that takes the place as a bearing ring in there instead of discs or ball bearings that would have a metal-to-metal contact. So this nylon allows no actual metal-to-metal contact between the softer aluminum component here and the brass pump back here. The only true metal-to-metal contact is just the coupling itself. So that, in combination with what we've done with the waterway as far as the coatings, the advanced materials that we're using inside, lots and lots of stainless, we no longer have corrosion problems with our intake valves, unlike everybody else in the business. And while everybody else keeps pointing to the water as being the big target hazard causing corrosion, the real secret, and now you know the secret, it is the galvanic destruction that goes on between the dissimilar metals of the pump and the aluminum. So that's one of the key elements that we integrated immediately into the entire series, both the remote control, the jumbo versions that we have, and the regular BIVs that we have in the system here. Now, some of the other key components that are really common mostly across the board here. These are some things that are very user-friendly that we found. The first one is swiveling inlet. We found that a lot of times in using the LDH hardware and LDH hose that you'd get a kink directly at the ground. And by having the inlet swivel or find that path of least resistance, it often removed that flow reducing kink right at the ground and made for a lot of tremendous flexibility. Now this will lock in, so it's permanent in that location, or you can allow it just to swivel, so the front end will swivel around. Now on this one, you look in the side here and you can see the stainless half ball design that we've used. And you notice I'm going to put it in the shut position. Well, in the shut position, this is the other thing. Unlike a piston style of intake valve that's currently in the market today, the piston valve sits with water in it the entire time. Here, you notice in the closed position, the only water is on the back seat, which is all stainless of the entire valve, so the valve virtually sits dry the whole time. So these really are some of the key performance criteria that we originally designed into this equipment and what makes it so special and actually so wildly popular. Now, some of the other things that we did, we developed a very high-flowing, quick-reacting pressure relief valve for the bottom of these, and today, many of you may find, if you look on the bottom of some of your pumps from Watrous, Hale, and Darley, you may find the same configuration that we manufacture for them because of the high performance. You'll also find other things across the product line that we just have done to make things easier for customers. Now you notice we use this is a wheel type assembly off to the side, which can be mounted this way, or if there's a clearance problem on the pump panel, it can be switched over the other way. And we also today offer what we call a parallel shaft gear drive, which keeps the entire operation now straight on the top of the unit itself. So if there are major clearance problems from side to side, This now goes on top, and the entire hand wheel configuration can be operated right from the top of the unit itself. This is a brand new option for us. What I brought here, I wanted you to be able to see what the inside of the stainless ball looks like. Again, it's an old design, one that we inherited from Jaffrey, but something that we fine-tuned. But this is all stainless. The entire waterway on these is stainless. So they're really designed for many, many years of rugged, durable use out there with, unlike the problems of some of these other valves that require $300 and $400 changes and upgrades and fixtures that have to be fixed about every second or third years because of corrosion. We've eliminated all that. Now in the product line here that incorporate a lot of these key components I've been talking about, we have some other versions. The regular BIV, which you see here in an RC version, and the regular manual version here, typically rated up to 2,000 gallons per minute, typically used with a 5-inch line, very low friction loss, very open waterway, ideally suited for drafting through our high volume, low level strainers, our suction hose, things like that. You'll also see on the end down here, and you'll notice the valve, of course, is a little bit bigger, and you'll see on the side where it kind of bumps out over here. This is our jumbo BIV version, which has virtually no loss at 1,000 or 2,000, and it actually is rated up to 3,000 GPM and available with all couplings, threaded, all the way up through 6-inch storts. For some fire truck applications, we found where pump panels are very, very tight and they don't have a lot of space to be able to have something hanging out on the outside framework of the truck. We have a new series in our jumbo now that, notice we just got rid of the swiveling detent elbow, but it knocks many, many inches off and allows it to keep very, very compact to the truck. And in this case, you'll notice too that we do offer them without a pressure relief valve if that's something that somebody chooses to have. Okay, enough on the manual versions. Again, we've got the regular, we've got the jumbo, we have the jumbo in a couple configurations. You can purchase any of these now with the hand wheel type assembly, this parallel shaft drive that we use on top. And for just a moment, I'd like to focus really on the remote control versions here. Now you'll see down here we have an operational pad that often is placed on the pump panel, or this could be on the opposite side of the truck, and this would be over on the pump operator's side as well. But virtually they're identical. Everything's the same swiveling inlets, the same stainless steel, the same dry valve, the same coating, same, except you'll notice on top here where we have a manual on these others with the hand wheel or the parallel shaft, it's been replaced with a very nice compact motor. And so very simply now on the pump panel, you can hit a button and the valve completely opens up. Or you can design this, if you just prefer to do it at a button touch, it can be programmed so that as you touch it, it opens. So you can go either way. So there's a lot of flexibility, as well as an LED readout here that gives you the valve position indication. So again, the entire product line, this is one of TFT's most successful product lines because we hit the market when everybody else was having problems. And even today, everybody else continues to have problems with the piston style of intake valve and corrosion problems and stuff. Things that TFT has really solved over the years, both from the Jaffrey acquisition to today, doing what we do with coatings and stainless and things like that. So if you have any questions about this entire broad series of ball intake valves and its bigger brother, the jumbo ball intake valve, certainly you can visit www.tft.com and get the full perspective of what's going on. You can download something as simple as the ops manual, which gives pretty much every piece of information that you need here for all of these different valves. Or feel free to call our service and tech team at 800-348-2686.